Okay, and welcome back to another video. I've given a few days because there's nothing been out that's really been worth making another video about. So I let it kind of sit for a few days so I can kind of let it all kind of mush into a bigger amount so I can talk about it now. Plus I might have a bit of a chat on this video about some of the things in more extensive detail. Because some of the things I have a new transfer news. Some of them are new, some of them are players that are coming in, some of them are outgoings that I'll get onto in a bit. Some of them are ones that have already happened and been agreed, like the Raphinha deal with Chelsea. It's already been agreed, but there's turmoil going on about that as well with Barcelona, and with Raphinha wanting to go to Barcelona and Deco trying to push for that even still after we've agreed a deal with Chelsea. It's been an annoying saga, but I'll get onto that. And there's also been the Calvin Phillips situation. Situation. He's gone, and there's been no arguments or no kind of turmoil or anything with that deal. He's gone. We've agreed a fee with Man City, and there's been no messing about with anyone. And it's kind of happened, which is a lot better, and it's a lot more helpful for fans, because you don't want to be in a situation that we're in right now with Raphinha, where we're kind of, no one hates Raphinha, but we're kind of just waiting for him to go. Everyone would prefer he go now, because now with the situation we've got a player that doesn't want to play for the club, and that could possibly be staying at the club for 6 months to a year, because he can't get his Barcelona deal yet. Because he doesn't want to go to Chelsea. He'd rather stay at Leeds, because he's got the Brazil place for the World Cup. Maybe he's worried about losing that at Chelsea because of maybe game time. I still think he'll be playing at Chelsea maybe as a starter most likely. And even if not, you'll probably be in the Brazil team. What other players, are going to be pushing him that hard at the quality he has? You could argue maybe Richarlison, but he's more of a striker kind of player. But I'll be getting onto that as well. Some of the players that we're going to be bringing in, I'll also get onto that we are going to be bringing in, hopefully. I hope so. Obviously, none have been agreed, apparently. There is some news. I'm not entirely sure if it's true, but I will get onto that as well. But I just want to say thank you all for coming onto the video. I hope you enjoy the video. If you don't mind liking and subscribing down below, and click the bell notification, you get notifications for whenever a video comes out, whenever I go live, or whatever you really need from me. And yeah, we're going to get right into it. So, starting off with Phillips, because there's not really much news on that. Just that maybe Jack Grealish was a big kind of a big part of the reason that he went to Manchester City. Obviously, a Villa lad. That you thought maybe he's going to be loyal to Villa and stay there, and he was swayed by Manchester City the same way as Calvin Phillips, which is probably he had conversation with Jack Grealish, and ultimately it led to his decision. Obviously, players they've brought in like Haaland are a big pull, and the fact they've got Guardiola as their manager, who plays a similar style in a way to Bielsa. It's going to be a lot closer to Bielsa than the Jesse Marsch system, of course. They've got players like Kevin De Bruyne in the midfield as well too, so that's probably going to be another reason why you'd want to go. And obviously wages, he's going to have a much larger wage packet at Manchester City than at Leeds. That's just how it is. We know how much money Manchester City have. It's just that's how it is. That's going to be done. His medical was done Friday, I believe, but it hasn't been announced yet by either of the clubs that he's gone, which is slightly weird, but I assume that will be done in the next week or so. You'd assume so. And obviously coming the other way to Leeds, we got 18-year-old Darco Guyabi, who's come from Manchester City's youth system. £5 million, I believe, was the deal that we got for him. He's coming the other way. I believe he is going to be officially over tomorrow, which is Monday. Which might be when the video comes out. I'm not entirely sure yet, don't count me on that. But yeah, he should be coming on Monday. The deal, to be honest, I don't want to put it down. Obviously, it's probably a great deal for him, because he gets a chance to show himself a lot more, because in that Manchester City team you don't get a lot of chance to show how good your quality is. Only Phil Foden's been able to do it properly. Players like Cole Palmer and James McAtee haven't been able to push in that first team and try and get a first team spot, unlike Phil Foden obviously, and Guyabi probably wasn't going to get that chance at Manchester City, so it's probably a good move that him coming to Leeds. He'll be working under the under-23s, maybe pushing it in cup competitions like the League Cup and the FA Cup, maybe pushing to get a spot there and get some experience playing in the first team. So it's maybe a good move for him. In my opinion, I'm not entirely that bothered about it, because we're probably not going to get that much out of it for the next season anyway. I think this season it's more so the players we're looking at for the first team that are going to be more important assets that we are going to be looking to bring in, that I'll be more excited about and I'll not care more, but basically. But Raphinha, which is the situation that's been going on the whole window from the start, from not long after we stayed up in the Premier League up until still going on now. He was going to go to Barcelona, then they couldn't put up the funds. Then he was off to Arsenal apparently, then they couldn't put the funds up, and then Chelsea slapped that bid down, and obviously it met our interested bid. The target we wanted for Raphinha, the amount of money we wanted, it met that, so we accepted it. And that's what we thought was the end of it. That's what I thought was going to be the end of it on the last video, and he hasn't gone yet. They are still, Raphinha and Deco, still pushing for this Barcelona deal, which is annoying because in this situation they both know, and Leeds know, and Barcelona themselves know, that they cannot put the funds up to afford him, at least in one instalment. But I think even in the news reports and some of the journalists that I've seen have said they're not even going to be able to pay the amount that Chelsea had put down in instalments. I think it would be 20 million instalments, but it would only go up to around 50 million pounds, which is nowhere near the 60 to 65 million pounds that Chelsea are going to be paying for him. It's annoying as well when he's apparently said that he might stick out the next 6 months to a year at Leeds to get the Barcelona deal. This is terrible for Leeds, of course, because we want to sell him. At this point, he is not wanting to play for the team. He wants to be at Barcelona, and we want to get the money for him. Otherwise, we're just going to be wasting him away until he goes for free, or until Barcelona can get him for around 40 million, which will be next year, I assume, or in the winter window. And that's not what we want. Of course, we want him to go now while we can get 60 to 65 million and reinvest that in players like Mo Camara, Charles de Ketelaere and Cody Gakpo that we've been interested in the last few days, which I have news on. A small amount of news on, and it's kind of speculative, we're not sure. But yeah, it's annoying. No one wants to see Raphinha go. He's a brilliant player. We'd rather him stay at the club. But at this point, I'd rather the money at the moment, and we can get the players in, because if he stays in January or in the summer window, he's not going to be worth as much. He's not going to be worth 60 to 65 million. Not because he's not been good, but because his contract would have gone down. So it's not going to be hard to buy out that contract, is it? A 1 year, I think he's only 2 years left, so by then it'll be around 1 year, maybe a bit more. It's annoying and it's still ongoing. I hope he goes to Chelsea more so than Barcelona. I know I'd rather him play for Barcelona because they're not in the Premier League, but I want the funds, I want the money that we're asking for him. I want the 60 to 65 million, and Barcelona can't pay that. Unfortunately, I'd rather him go to Chelsea, to be honest, than Barcelona at this point, so we can reinvest in the squad. Because right now Chelsea aren't really no threat to us at the moment. They're at the top. They're in another world. We're not going to be even threatening their position. They're not going to be threatening our position in the league. So that's that situation going on. But incomings now. Apparently, I've seen mixed reports about Charles de Ketelaere. We might be at the front of the race for him. We're in a race with Leicester and AC Milan. AC Milan would probably be at the top. You want to go to them, they're Italian champions, but I don't think they have the money. The money's just not in the Italian football at the moment, as you've probably seen with Inter Milan, who have sold so many of their players, and then they can't afford to buy Lukaku back from Chelsea, but they have to loan him, as you've seen. But him going to Leicester is also likely. Leicester just haven't shown as much interest yet because they are selling, I believe, Dennis Pratt for around 10 million. I assume once they have that money, they will be more aggressive in the market for Charles Teketele. But at the moment, we are, I think, the front runners. I'm going to say we might be, but it might change. It changes all the time with transfers. It's merely just rumours. Cody Gakpo has gone silent. Since it came out, I think a week or two ago, we've heard really nothing since. We've just seen a few rumours that we're interested in going getting him, but that happens with every team, you know. A sporting director, a manager, whoever is working on the transfers will always have a massive list of players, and we're going to have a massive list of players. Of course, we're interested in some of them. Nothing's really been like talked about that we're going to try and negotiate a deal with him. And the other player is Mo Camara, who apparently we have signed him, which should be done Tuesday, or kind of like we should see more about that Tuesday. Apparently so, we have signed him behind closed doors, behind everything. No one else knows about it. I have nothing else really to say about it. I've only seen a couple sources saying this. So I suppose if it happens, absolutely, I love Mo Camara more than Tyler Adams. I get there's a good deal at the moment because Leipzig have put the price down right down to 15 million euros or pounds. I'm not sure if it's euros or pounds, but that's still a decent deal. But I don't know if he'd be the better player. He'd be a cheaper option, of course. It kind of depends if we're going to if we bring both of them in, that might be a bit weird because we didn't bring in Mark Roca, so that kind of, one of them's going to have to be a bench option, and with the midfield players we've got, I know we had to thicken the squad up, but this seems a bit extreme, you know. But yeah, maybe that might happen on Tuesday. I don't know. I've seen very few sources of this, but I hope so. Mo Camara seems like a very good player, and he seems like he wants to come to Leeds. A few people have seen a message and he's messaged back, responding to them, wanting to come to Leeds. There's apparently been. Apparently he's been quoted saying that he wants to come to Leeds. It was kind of like a battle between us and Brighton, and he just had to kind of pick what one he wants to go to. Apparently it's been Leeds. So maybe that develops over the next week. Who knows? But that's been this video. Yeah, it's a difficult period at the moment in the window because there's not a lot going on really. Hopefully this Raphinha deal gets sorted out. But yeah, thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll hopefully see you in the next one.